Maybe we just boop, boop, woo, 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 energy of coming off the wall. Hello, yogis. So one of the things I get asked a lot is, how do you work on handstand, or how do you work on inversions? I can tell you, if you don't know me, if you haven't followed me for a long time, it has taken me years and years and years to get comfortable with inversions, to the point where, like, just 2 or 3 years ago, 2 years ago really, I was like crying almost, like being upside down, because I was just so scared of it. And like without even being in a handstand, just like the L stands I'm about to show you, I would like be in tears. So it is a big mental hurdle, even when you are very strong and very capable in your physical practice. It can be just very scary. And I don't think for most of us, we just wake up one day able to do handstand. And it can be very frustrating when you have this image in your head that you've seen on Instagram, or that you just imagine that, like, oh, I should be able to do this, and you're trying and you're not making that end result happen fast enough for your own opinions. So first of all, drop the pressure on yourself, because if you're trying to fit yourself into a box or into a shape, all that you're going to do is cause frustration. And secondly, my opinion, don't be afraid to use the help of the wall. I know that some yoga teachers will disagree with me and say that, you know, using a wall, you just develop it as a crutch, it gets harder to get away from the wall, et cetera, et cetera. I can appreciate that that's true, but also if you're not able to do it and you're trying over and over without a wall and you're hurting yourself or getting frustrated, why not give yourself a little bit of a break and just see what it's like, to use a wall, okay? So that's what we're gonna work on today. And I'm gonna show you my kind of stair-step approaches that I've taken to get upside down, to get over the fear of getting upside down, and to eventually get away from the wall, okay? So that's where we're at today. Step 1 is what I like to call an L stand. You can also do any of these things from forearm stand, but that's a lot to cover in one short video, so we're just focusing on handstand today. So anyway, L stands. You're gonna start basically with your feet against the wall or against a baseboard, and then your hands underneath your shoulders, okay? So this is just to get you used to the idea of being on your hands and having yourself inverted a little bit. So you're gonna start to bring your knees up, and then essentially like down dog at the wall, and you just start to walk your feet up a little higher. Now, as we go up, our shoulders and our hips start to stack, especially if our feet are parallel with the floor. Now, that's gonna be a little bit freaky for a lot of us, so we can take the feet up a little bit higher. Those of us who are pretty comfortable, maybe walking the feet a little lower, or even lower than parallel. So really challenging that core strength. Trying to come down mindfully so we don't just collapse onto our knees, okay? So just feeling that sensation of hips and shoulders kind of stacking in one line can be really intimidating for a lot of people. It was for me, for sure. That's when I would feel that feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna start to cry because, I'm upside down. It's not normal. I mean, we spend all of our lives on our feet or on our back or on our butt. We're not used to being on our hands, so it's very trippy for those of us who don't try it a lot, who maybe didn't grow up as gymnasts or dancers or whatever. So give yourself some time, repeat that step as needed. Those of us who start to feel a little bit more comfortable in this L stand shape, once you get your feet up there, maybe you start to play with lifting one leg at a time. Maybe you just kind of, play with it a little bit, just see what it feels like. Obviously doing the same thing on the other side so that you start to feel that sensation of, okay, now I can bring one leg up. Now I can bring the other leg up. So after you get used to those things, next step comes kicking up, all right? And so when I say next step, I don't mean that that has to happen like within the next 5 minutes, okay? You might play with that for like a week, a month, whatever, until you start to feel more comfortable. When you're ready, kicking up to the wall. Now, the thing I see a lot, and it kind of drives me crazy, is like this flinging both hands, like round off gymnast style approach to doing a handstand at the wall. It scares me. Please don't fling yourself into the wall, okay? The more controlled you can make your movement, first of all, the stronger you're getting because you're actually using your muscles. You're not just relying on the force of gravity or sheer willpower to like throw yourself upside down, okay? You're really using your core, you're keeping your body safe by moving more slowly, and you're not putting undue pressure on your wrists or your joints, okay? That's my speech, all right? So the other thing that I see a lot is kind of using more energy than you need to, and you get tired more quickly. So lots of things to point out. You want to be far enough away from the wall. It's a little bit different for everybody that you feel comfortable, but you're not so close. What I see a lot of times too is people get really close. As soon as you get up to the wall and you hit, if you're too close, the wall's just going to push you right back down. Okay, so it's just like bonk, bonk, all right? You don't want to do that. So you need to have enough space that you can land, and then you can kind of back off. Okay, so it's not just this ping pong game between you and the wall. So you have enough space between you and the wall, maybe like a foot-ish, all right? Lifting one leg up, think standing splits, okay? And then from this position, your bottom leg is the one that's doing the work, all right? So it's like your springboard. Your top leg is just still. It's there for counterbalance. So what I mean by I see people working too hard is they're using this top leg and this bottom leg and they're like, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, that's so tiring, all right? Like I just did it once and it's exhausting, all right? So conserve some of your energy, make it more intentional, leave the top leg just steady as it is. Bottom leg is like your little diving board spring. You engage your belly and then you start to kick, all right? And maybe we don't kick all the way up like that. Maybe we just boop, boop, all right? And that's where we are for a long time, and that's fine. But you're using those actual movements of being controlled. You're not just flinging your body around, okay? So you're not gonna get hurt that way, and you're actually building muscle where you need to build the muscle. Also, I'm just demoing on one leg, but if you do it on one leg, try it on the other leg too. So just so you stay even, just so you stay aware, and so you give one leg a break. Okay, so that's my spiel there. Once you start playing with kicking up to the wall, and that gets more and more comfortable, then it becomes this thing of getting away from the wall, all right? So that's where it gets challenging, okay? Because you can get really used to the safety of the wall. Once you start finding the wall pretty consistently, all right? So we start finding the wall. Play with lifting one leg off. And you can also bend your knees. If you have tight hamstrings, you can bend your knees, practice lifting one leg at a time. Once you get one foot off the wall, the second foot that comes off as slow and controlled as you can. And then think of your leg that's already off the wall as like a little signal beacon or something that's trying to bring that other leg towards it. What I mean by coming off the wall slowly is just like if you're too close to the wall when you kick up, if you try to leave the wall too quickly, so if you're, you create this like whoo, whoo, whoo energy of coming off the wall. And obviously I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you're pulling yourself off too quickly and all you're gonna do is fall back down right away, okay? So making that movement off the wall, really intentional, really slow. So taking your time, my teacher Carmen taught me that the last time I worked with her in Chicago. So taking your time, like you're trying to just very slowly, and then if you need to find the wall again, you can find the wall again, okay? The wall is still there, but you're practicing bringing that leg off slow and controlled. And then as you feel comfortable with that, coming away from the wall entirely, and you might practice just kind of falling a little bit. So if you're like freaked out, like, oh my God, I'm so used to having the wall there, and this is all in my head, and you know, I know I can do it, but I'm strong. Maybe you just practice, and just falling to the side, and just falling. So just letting yourself get over that idea of every single time you try has to be a perfect handstand, knowing that you can fall down, it's gonna be okay, you can catch yourself, taking some of that pressure out of your head, okay? Because if you can do it at the wall, logically, You can do it away from the wall, okay? It just takes building some of that confidence or removing some of the fear. So anyway, that's my quick and dirty tutorial of how to get upside down. As always, I love requests. I hope that this one helped. And like I said, you can do those same steps for forearm stand, so where you're on your forearms, but that's just the handstand version. So hope it helped. If you have questions, leave me a comment, let me know. Go check out the other videos and let me know if you have requests for next month. Thanks, guys.